the Republican establishment has decided that they are going to come down hard on Donald Trump for the comments that he made about the judge in his Trump University case. Now, the judge had made some rulings that Trump didn't like, and so he said, well, he's a Mexican. No, he's an American. He happens to have Mexican heritage, but he's from Indiana, and his parents have been here, and his family's been here for a long time. So now that's totally out of bounds. We called him out on it. But Donald Trump has said so many things that are wildly out of bounds. But for some reason, this was the camel that broke the straw's back for Republicans. So all I'm going to do is quote Republicans and conservatives here. Let's go with Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House. He says, I completely disagree with the thinking behind that. Then you go to Senator Susan Collins, Republican of Maine. Absolutely unacceptable, she says. Then you go to John Kasich, who used to run against Trump. Attacking judges based on their race and or religion is another tactic that divides our country. More importantly, it is flat out wrong. Trump should apologize to Judge Curiel and try to unite this country. And then Newt Gingrich says, I don't know what Trump's reasoning was, and I don't care. His description of the judge in terms of his parentage is completely unacceptable. Now, that's Newt Gingrich that is on a short list of possible VP picks for Donald Trump. I think that perhaps they've already told him that he didn't make it. But to be fair, the others don't have that same stake, and they're all unified against him. In fact, we did a mashup for you guys. Everybody you're about to see is either Republican or conservative. Now, except with the minor exceptions of obviously Al Sharpton. So take a look here.
This is one of the worst mistakes Trump has made. And I think it's inexcusable.
I think his family, if I'm not mistaken, had been in the country of America longer than Trump's grandmother.
This questions the separation of powers, and it is blatantly racist.
First of all, this judge was born in Indiana. He is an American, period.
And it just, it's offensive. It really is. And this week, it was a whole new level.
He's moved beyond the dog whistle, racist bullhorn, to tell the rest of America that if you're not white and you're not a Christian, you can't judge me.
If a liberal were to attack Justice Clarence Thomas on the grounds that he's black, we would all go crazy. Every conservative would say it was wrong, and it was racism.
The statements this week on the judge, that's a new level, because it's not just, ill-informed or ignorant statements, but to suggest that when he's president, after November, that perhaps he ought to go after that judge. That's a whole new level, and so it's very disturbing.
Do you consider what he did here racism?
I think that it was a mistake. I think that I hope it was sloppiness.
He's going in. I mean, this sounds like Nuremberg. Are you 132nd Jewish? Are you 116th black? Are you 1/8 Mexican? Like, what standard is this? It's not American.
Is that not a racist statement?
Yeah, I couldn't disagree more with a statement like that.
Nicole, is that racism? Yes.
Is it a racist statement?
I couldn't disagree more with what he had to say.
Joe,
Completely racist.
Is that racism?
It's completely racist.
Okay, but do you think it's a racist statement to say?
I don't agree with what he had to say.
Reverend Nell, is that racism?
Oh, it's absolutely unequivocally racist.
Okay, I don't know why the camel's back broke on this one. I'm glad it did. I mean, you saw some mainstream reporters in there, then you saw conservative members of the press, then you saw Republican Party officials, and then you saw former huge supporters, Joe Scarborough, Newt Gingrich of Trump. Just Scarborough compared it to the Nazis, okay? And that might be a fair comparison, but wow, this is the guy who had Trump on his show every single day and like, oh, Mr. Trump, you don't get enough respect and all this stuff. And then, of course, Trump got mad at Morning Joe, so he tweets out, I don't watch or do Morning Joe anymore. Small audience, low ratings. I hear Mika's gone wild with hate. Joe is Joe. They lost their way. Well, if they have low ratings, that's probably your fault. You were on the air almost every single day for the last 6 months. So it is fascinating. I think that there's some chance that the Republicans in the primaries weren't as tough as we thought they were, that they didn't push this stuff out nearly as much as now that the Hillary Clinton team has turned their attention to Donald Trump, as much as they are in the press. Because the other statements were also outrageous, were also racist, calling the immigrants rapists and criminals, saying he's going to ban all Muslims. Doesn't care who, if they're radical or fundamentalist, religious, not religious. Ban 1.6 billion people, and the list goes on and on. But on this one, now they're working everybody, and then you all of a sudden, voila, the whole country agrees he's racist. And it is very interesting timing. But hey, I'll take it. It's absolutely true. Now, to be fair, there was one guy in the press who did defend Trump. Let's show you.
He kept calling Curiel a Mexican, right? It is not even dog whistle politics. It is just pure racial politics.
No, it's not racial.
It's racial politics. It is.
Mexico is not a race.
It doesn't matter whether Mexico is a race. It's stirring up racial animus about people who don't like Hispanics.
I just make the point. Mexico is not a.
I'm fully aware that Mexico is not a race.
That's pretty weak sauce. That's your best defense? Oh, hey, technically Mexico's not a race. Yeah, we know. He means Hispanics, and I don't know if you know this. There's a lot of Hispanics in Mexico. Okay. Oh, technically Mexico's not a race. Technically, Islam's not a race. You can't call it racism. You have to call it some other word like bigotry or something. Gotcha. No, you didn't. But leave it to Mark Halperin to be the last defender of the powerful, no matter how loathsome they are. Now, they did turn around and ask Trump. Now, you said this about this judge whose family was originally from Mexico, but are completely American now. Your family, Donald Trump, was originally from somewhere else too, happened to be American now. Well, are you going to have that same standard for Muslims? Let's find out.
If we're a Muslim judge, would you also feel like they wouldn't be able to treat you fairly because of that policy of yours?
It's possible, yes. Yeah, that would be possible, absolutely.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and disqualify the Muslim judges as well. This guy is the nominee for the Republican Party. He won. He's one of the two main contestants in this race, and contestant seems like a fair word given his reality show background. Now, there might be a lot more people that enter the race because this is madness. And I think that the Republican Party, in their reaction here, might be tipping their hand going, we got to have somebody else. This guy cannot be our standard bearer. So will there be three parties more? The Libertarians are also polling at 10%, and that wouldn't be necessarily who the Republicans turn to. They might turn to another person. You might splinter this vote in 18 different ways. So I use that as a hyperbole, but on the other hand, there was actually 17 people in the race on the Republican primary side. So hold, this race is nowhere near settled. If you think it's just going to be Trump versus Hillary Clinton, because she's got more pledged delegates and more superdelegates right now, and you think, oh, it's always just a Republican versus a Democrat. Has any part of this race been normal? No. We might have an enormously abnormal race in the general election. This isn't the end of it. This is the beginning of it.